There everybody, we are live again. Lovely to be with you all. The next stream is going to be on Thursday, which will be the 21st of November at 3:30 p.m. UK time. Let me put that there in the... And then welcome to Manisco, welcome to Ronan, welcome to Oksana, welcome to Julia. Lovely to have you all here. And we were doing this article about, is there a link between criminality and lead pollution from the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s? So let's see. Okay, let's start straight into this. And Nevin's original research pointed to lead poisoning in childhood increasing the likelihood, hope, forecast, prediction of offending by the time someone had reached their teens or early 20s. Hi Patricia, lovely to see you. Okay, so increasing the likelihood, hope, forecast, prediction of offending. Let's see what the rest of you are going to say. Okay, so this is about lead. So notice pronunciation here. Lead poisoning in childhood. Increasing the... so let's see the prediction. A prediction. It's not very good prediction. Yes, so likelihood for Julia, likelihood for Patricia. The forecast, the weather forecast. The indicators, I like that word, indicators, likelihood. Good morning, Rainyard, lovely to see you. The forecast for, yeah, I think forecast for would be better. The likelihood of. Okay, hope, well, no, you're not hoping. So, yeah, the forecast for. Yeah, I guess you have a financial forecast as well. But the likelihood of, that's it, Renyard. So, let's go to the next one. Wolpaw-Reyes data appeared to show that anti-pollution legislation in the US then reversed that fashion, vogue, trend, tend, fad on a state-by-state basis. Okay, so Oksana goes for trend. Let's see what the... So, reverse that. Fashion, vogue, trend, tend, fad. Trend for Manisco, trend for Julia, trend for Patricia. Okay, that's good. Let's see, tend. No, it would be a tendency. But a trend for statistics, definitely. Vogue is talking about fashion. Trend for Renyard. A fad. A tendency, yes. A fad is normally something that is very popular, that people like to do. So I keep thinking of hula hoops as a fad. That fashion, no, it's a trend, definitely. That trend, they would reverse the trend. If you wanted to say, Jessica, I don't believe that story, then my answer is that you need to put, get, come, go up with another story that would explain why we have found this particular pattern to lead in the 1970s and 80s, and then crime in the 1990s and 2000s. So we've got, so this is a phrasal verb. Put up with, get up with, come up with, go up with. So come up with for Oksana, Julia and Manisco. To put up with is to withstand, to be patient in a difficult situation. You get up with, not really, to go up with, come up with, to, you come up with an idea, you come up, that's come up with for Renyard, come up with an idea, to come up with an excuse, come up with for Patricia. The bug bender, hi bug bender, you've just got to guess the right word that goes in the gap from the 4 available. So let's try, and this is just the graph so that you can actually see it. The red one is crime, and the blue one is the amount of leaded petrol per capita. To devise, to invent, yeah, to come up with. Okay, and moreover, you need to be able to show why this relationship, bond, liaison, affinity, rapport is now coming up in other work on bullying, child behaviour problems, teenage delinquency, suicide and substance abuse. You need to tell a story about why those would be linked by chance. Correlation. So we've got relationship for Oksana and Patricia. I like the word correlation, because she's really talking about statistics here, and there's a in the previous graph what we saw was a correlation. Relationship for Julia as well. Well, this link, yeah, definitely link is a good word, which is why it's not there. Rapport talks about a good relationship, so I have a good rapport with my in-laws. An affinity is where two things like each other, they go closely together. A liaison is talking about linking, but normally is linking between two departments, between two different groups. This correlation does fit here. Yes, it does. Yes, a connection. Why this connection? I guess it would. Connection would. Fathers and daughters. I guess connection does fit. I think correlation is better, and this bond of silly correlations between spaghetti consumption and infidelity. A set of such graphs. I love that spaghetti consumption. Good morning, Raul Gianfranchi. Okay, it's a relationship, but I think, as Oksana says, correlation is better. Let's see, I guess connection would work, but, well, relationship is the one they've used. Since then, the data for the lead theorists. Liaison is a naughty and sinful thing, yeah, but it's fun. Liaison dangereuse. This tie could fit Renyard, yeah, the tie between these two things. Since then, the data for lead theorists has become more and more detailed, intricate, graphic, ornate, complicated. Complicated for Julia. Complicated for the bug bender. It's fun till it gets you in hot water. Detailed, says Renyard. Hot water. It could be fun getting in hot water, Patricia. I'm sure you've done it on many occasions. So since then, the data for lead theorists has become more and more detailed, intricate, graphic, ornate, or complicated. Graphic or detailed, what do they want to say? So, hi there to Flagpole Company. Detailed for Manisco. Graphic or detailed, but graphic, I suppose, yes, graphic would work if it's trying to say that it shows it more and more clearly. Lionheart goes for detailed. Patricia goes for graphic. A graphic description is a very clear description. If it more clear but more detailed, let's see, if it's complicated, they've acquired more info. That's it, Reynard, exactly. More persuasive would be more graphic. If the data is more complicated, I like the almost. The data is not necessarily complicated, but in this case it's detailed. Yeah, they've got more and more. They are showing finer and finer details, and the correlation still holds. Okay, Nevin and his supporters predicted that crime would fall in other nations 20 years after the banning of leaded petrol, and their theory seems to have run, given, taken, played out in Europe. Played out for Oksana. Detailed, but graphic details. Okay, detailed is they're looking at finer and finer points. Graphic is just how clearly you can see it. Played out for Lionheart. By the way, welcome Lionheart, it's lovely to see you. Played out for Julia as well. Played out for Reynard. So to run out, yeah, I've run out of milk, I've run out of petrol, I'm not having any more. Have given out, to distribute. Have taken out, no. To play out, okay, to play out means it shows or it follows the prediction. The predictions that he made have played out, have proved to be true. The warnings I gave have played out. Yeah, it has developed in the way that I predicted it would happen. The events played out as I had thought. So to happen, to follow the way something happens, to play out. The sad events have played out in this part of the in the city. Okay, so to happen effectively. Okay, next one's easy. Leaded petrol was expelled, deleted, dismissed, erased, removed from British engines later than in North America, and the crime rate in the UK began to fall later than in the US and Canada. It's a jumper. It's a jumper, P. It's a jumper. Okay, so Reynard goes for removed. Removed for Julia, removed for Patricia. Okay, expelled. If you're expelled, this is particularly from school. You get expelled from school and the headmaster says, you're never going to come back again. or you could be expelled from a country. It's got a touch of purple to it. Let's see, Oksana, expelled normally, to me, the first thing I think of is when the headmaster of the school says you're not allowed to come back to this school. You've got to go. You could be expelled from a nightclub. You could be particularly expelled from a country, deported, removed for Maniska, removed for Lionheart. Like ban. To expel is to make leave. A gun. You fire and the bullet is expelled from the tip of the barrel. Okay, so if something is expelled, it's made to go out. When they ostracize somebody, they expel them from society. To expel is to make go out, literally. He drank lots and lots of whiskey, and then the whiskey was expelled later in a fit of vomiting. Blech. Bullet released, expelled, to be pushed out of. Deleted, you delete something. Jettison. Jettison is to throw away. I guess jettison might work. Yeah, petrol was made to go out of engines due to law. The proposition that petrol should be allowed in engines was expelled. It doesn't work very well. Delete information, delete comments. To dismiss, you're dismissed from your job. To erase, yeah, you rub something out. But petrol was removed. It's removed. Okay, let's go for the next one. Erase from your memory. Yes, it's a sight that I will never forget. Lead theorists say that data they've unified, collated, concerted, composed and calculated from each nation shows the same 20-year trend. The sooner lead is removed from the environment, the sooner crime will begin to fall. The data they've unified, collated, concerted, composed and calculated from each nation shows the same 20-year trend. So Oksana says composed, Bugbender says composed, Renyard says collected. And I agree with you, Renyard. I would say collected. Eraser to rubber. Composed for Julia. If you collated for Patricia, unified for Renyard. But out of the given, exactly, Oksana. Also, let's see, a composer invents things. Compiled. That's a good word, Wolfman. Compiled. Because if a composer invents music. Yeah? And I think if you're composing data, you are... It has the suggestion that you're inventing it. And I don't like composed at all. Concerted is completely different. Concerted, compose a bouquet. together a bouquet. Maybe. Julia goes for collated. Lionheart goes for collated. Concerted is one thing happens, then another thing happens at the same time. Two things, concerted actions. Okay, unified, no. To collate, to put data in order. To collate. For example, I know many places have a collator where the information is put in the correct files. It's put in the correct places. To collate is like to take the data and put it in various places. Good. I'm glad to teach you something, Oksana. Okay, to collate. It is to put all of the bits of data in an organized system. So, collated. Great one. Collate sounds a bit like glue. Collated. Dr. Bernard Gesh says the data now suggests that lead could deem, consider, account, explain, hold, a reason or hold for as much as 90% of the changing crime rate during the 20th century across all the world. Mainly they get you into hot water. Okay, so look at this 4. Yeah, this 4 is very important. To deem, we don't use for. To deem is to consider done. To consider, to estimate, to account. So to account for, from Oksana, from Patricia, from Lionheart, could stand for. No. Let's see. To something stands for something, but notice this is an indirect representation. Stand for doesn't work in this case. ASAP stands for as soon as possible. Yes. But stand for it has the idea of in its place. Could reason for. Could be the reason for, Manisco. Could account for. Could be the reason why. Yes, Patricia. Good, Julia. Good, Reynard. So could account for as much as 90% of the crime. A lot of people would say that comparability, symmetry, correlation, analogy, parallel, ratio isn't cause, he says. But it seems the more the exposure, the more extreme the behaviour. And this is what you were saying, what Oksana was saying about spaghetti consumption and infidelity. White Stripes, lovely to see you. So, comparability, symmetry, correlation, analogy, parallel, ratio. So, correlation for White Stripes, for Oksana, for Bugbender. Correlation for Renyard. Who was it who wanted to use correlation earlier? Yes. It was Oksana who wanted to use correlation earlier. Correlation for Julia. That the two things move in the same way. But parallel. No. Ha! Thank you, Villager. That's really kind of you. Lovely to have you. Welcome. Okay, analogy. An analogy says one thing is like another thing. Ratio. Two parts of 1 part rice, 2 parts water. That's a ratio. Correlation for Patricia. Comparability. It just means you're able to compare the two things. Symmetry. Hit the like, as Julia says. Definitely correlation. This is a correlation between different things. It says that the two things are linked. Correlation. These are correlated. The graphs we saw earlier were correlated. I'm certainly... Good evening, Villager. Thank you for joining. It's really kind of you. It's really good to have you, Villager. I'm certainly not saying that lead is the only explanation. But why... the only explanation why crime is falling. But it is certainly the most eloquent, strong, persuasive, fluent, glib. Okay, so persuasive for Oksana and Julia. What's the meaning of this word glib? Persuasive for Lionheart as well. The most strong. The most strong. You see, my problem, Rainyard, is I would say strongest. The most strong. You could just about say most strong, but strongest. No, let's see. Glib is an argument or an explanation that sounds very good, very eloquent, but is insincere. So, for example, a salesman who is telling you about the wonders of his product is glib. He knows exactly what to say, but he doesn't really mean it. Persuasively eloquent. So, for example, a man who's all very good at picking up girls, he has a very glib chat-up line. Glib sales talk, exactly, Patricia. A politician who gives a very easy, polished answer to a very difficult question. That's glib. The point with glib is added to it in insincerity. It's a brilliant word, Oksana. Spin is talking about a spin doctor is trying to teach you the glib way of explaining something. You don't fall for them after a while. That's it, Patricia. It's great to see you, Nan. Better late than never. Or a student who always has a glib excuse for why they're late for class. Not that the excuse is ever true, but it sounds very good. It sounds very convincing. Okay, a spin doctor is the person who tells a politician whether the glass is half full or half empty. The spin. Half empty is a negative spin. Half full is a positive spin. A spin doctor is an advisor who tells a politician how to present a piece of information. Yeah, we're all naive sometimes. We're naive until we learn, Patricia. Okay, so this word glib is brilliant. The word spin doctor's a good word as well. Okay, so is the most persuasive. Yes, the one that persuades best, because eloquent is just the words that somebody uses. Glib is elegantly persuasive but insincere. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that, Oksana. And so why isn't this theory universally accepted? Well, it remains a theory because nobody could ever deliberately, voluntarily, relentlessly, thoughtfully poison thousands of children to see whether they became criminals later in life. Hi, Starry Night. I'm sorry to hear about the awful attacks, Oksana. I really am. The blue mauve jumper. So, deliberately for Renyard, deliberately for Starry, deliberately for Julia. Voluntarily says that you choose this way of doing things. Relentlessly talks about never stopping. Deliberately for Lionheart as well. Yes, we wish you safety. Thoughtfully you're thinking about it. But deliberately says that somebody is doing something on purpose. Okay, to do something deliberately is to do something on purpose. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop there. Purposely. You see, I would say on purpose. Deliberately for Patricia, deliberately for Nad, yes. So, enough for today. The next stream will be on Thursday, which is going to be the 21st of November at 3:30 p.m. UK time. It was a quickie. So, it's been great to have you all. You've been having fun, that's why it seemed to pass so quickly, P. It's been lovely to see you all, it really has. So, let's see. Thank you to Lionheart and Julia and Nad. Thank you to Oksana and Manisco and Julia and Patricia and Renyard and Starry and to Wolfman and to anybody else who I have missed. It's great to see you all, and I hope to see you all on Thursday. A French doctor infected hundreds of people with syphilis and tripper in order to prove the two are different diseases. I think it's true. I'm pretty sure you're right. Thank you, Villager. Thank you for joining as well. Okay, a colour is soothing. That's very good. So thank you for joining, Villager. Thank you, Manisco. Thank you, Wolfman. Thank you, all of you. It's wonderful having you. So stay safe, all of you. Take care, and I hope to see you on Thursday. It's been a pleasure. Take care and have a wonderful